Here's a walkthrough for the Academy of Raya Lucaria in Lake Lurnia, which includes how to get there side by side with the map, as well as unlocking all the map fragments as you go, where to find the key to get inside the Academy, what happens if you kill the dragon guarding it, how to quickly reach each boss in the location, and how to respec your character. Everything's timestamped below if you want to skip ahead. And in case you're new, I'm going to assume that you haven't been to the Academy before. So here's how to reach the location from the first step resting spot where you start the game. We're going to head north up the path past the Church of Ella, and then go northeast through the forest until you reach the Gatefront ruins, where we're going to be starting from. So from the Gatefront resting spot just here on the map, we're going to head through Stormgate and up the hill. You can easily run through the palisade guards here, as long as you're mounted on Torrent, which lets you ignore all of the enemies in true Elden Ring fashion. Just ignore the wolves that fall out of the sky here and carry on down the path up to Stormhill Shack, which will be visible on your right hand side just off the path here. Once you arrive, you can activate that side of grace and then return to the stone path and head onwards up the hill. Next, we're going to be heading under the bridge ahead over to the north here. And right here we come off the main stone path, which we can follow through the woods until we come out on the other side. And also make sure that you don't miss the new official Elden Ring displays. They've added even more to the collection since the game's release, and they're basically metal pieces of artwork that magnetize to your wall. My flat is already covered in them, and you can check them out for yourself from the link below in the description. And once we get to the end, we'll be able to drop off and take a shortcut around Stormvale Castle. So just head along the cliff edge and into this tight passageway like cave structure along the edge of the cliff. Now it looks confusing if it's your first time coming here, but this is just a linear path around the edge of Stormvale Castle. That's very easy to follow. You won't get lost and you can ignore all the wolves you come across along the way. And taking this route means you can even skip the boss there. Of course, if you want a guide for that boss, there's another one linked in the description below. But eventually, following this path, you're going to come out on the other side into Liurnia of the Lakes. And if you head through the woods here along the dirt path, just on the right hand side, you're going to spot another site of grace called the Lake Facing Cliffs. And if you actually wait at this resting spot and pass time, you'll actually then be able to see the Academy of Raya Lucaria in the distance. That's a long name, so let's just call it Hogwarts. So now from this resting spot, we're going to go down this dirt path to the southwest. And there is another Church of Marika on the left there where you can grab yourself an upgrade to your flask. But we're just going to carry on through the woodlands here, following this dirt path all the way down the hill. And then as we come out of this cave, we're going to see a fortress, or an excuse for a fortress here, which we can literally just ride straight on through without any issue. And then at the other side, we're going to see a river leading into the lake and a forest. But just to the left, there is a campsite. And it's at this campsite we're going to find the next site of grace. And now if we open our map, you can see we are at Liurnia Lake Shore. And if we go directly north, visible on the map is this little tombstone which marks where the map marker is. So from the side of grace, we're just going to ride into the lake itself. It's basically like a river, like a linear path we just follow. You can't go wrong, just follow the pathway. And right there, you can see the beacon, and that is where the map marker is. So we're going to go ahead and grab that. Now we've got the map, but we're just going to continue on northwest. Just carry on heading this way. And if we continue along this path, on the right-hand side, we're going to find another site of grace, which we can just go ahead and rest at. So now if we open up our map, you can see just here, we have now arrived at Laskyar Ruins, just here on the map. But now to find the next map fragment, it's in this sort of area of mist. What we need to do is go to this bridge section here, and we're going to follow this bridge, kind of like an invisible bridge here, and we're going to put a marker just here in the distance. And now we want to head towards that map marker. So from this resting spot, you can actually see the map marker over there, pretty much to the north. So now let's just follow this pathway to the map marker. So as we head towards that map marker, you're going to see these ruins up ahead, and that is where we need to go, to this site of grace. It'll be pretty visible because it's surrounded by like these gold sparkly effects. And before we pick up the Mac fragment next to it, let me just show you on the map here. This was the bridge to use as a reference. And if you just go along here, the Academy Gate Town resting point is literally on this bridge. And now we can pick up the Mac fragment. We can now see this entire lake area. So the next thing we need to do is reach the entrance of the Academy over here on the map. So to do that from the Academy Gate Town, we're basically just going to follow this sort of broken bridge along here. And then we're going to put a beacon just over here because this is the entrance into the town. We're going to put another beacon just here. And then we're going to go north to the actual entrance of the Academy. So starting at the Academy Gate Town, that is our path. We literally cannot go wrong. So from the resting spot here, we're just going to go over into the ruins and ride over this first roof here. And then we're going to look out into the distance for the beacons that we placed earlier. So we just carry on riding down here. You can pick up this upgrade for your Estus flask. And then from this tree, you're going to take a right through here and then take a left. And this is the first beacon and the entrance. And we're just going to run past all of the enemies here on Torrent. So just run up the stairs. Jump over this guy, and then carry on running, ignore all the enemies, just run around them. And then you're going to see the next beacon we had just here. So just carry on running around this guy and keep going up towards the gatehouse of the Academy right ahead. And this is where we're going to find the entrance, but we can't access it yet because we need a key. And I'll show you where to get that key in a moment. So firstly, we can get the map fragment on this guy's body just here. The meeting place map. That's going to show you the location of the Glintstone Key if you use it from your inventory. You'll see a map of the Academy with a blue highlighted area to the west of it. That's where the Academy Glintstone Key is located. So now to actually get the key to enter the Raya Lucaria Academy, we need to open up the map. And as you can see, we're now at the South Raya Lucaria Gate. I just showed you how to get here. And just west on the map here, we can see there's kind of like a rocky sort of structure right here. And we're going to put a beacon just over here because this is where the key is located. So from the gatehouse side of Grace, if we just turn around and look off the edge of the cliff, you can see there's kind of like a rock there. And we can just ride off the side of this cliff and then jump onto the cliff like this. And now we're at the base of the giant castle. So all we need to do is head around the edge of the castle and follow the beacons that we planted earlier. A lot of people have been asking me how you find the Glintstone Academy key, and it's literally on a map in front of the locked door. And if you do have a moment to leave a like on the video, it's super helpful. I do try and keep these guides super new player friendly. And there in the distance, we can see the beacon we placed where there's a sleeping dragon that guards the key. So now we need to get past this sleeping dragon and get the key. But if you do want to fight that sleeping dragon, well, if you turn around behind you, you can actually see there's a site of grace directly south of the dragon that you can grab just here in case you die. So now we can ride over to the dragon. I'll show you the easiest way to get the key, and then I'll show you what happens if you actually kill the dragon. So what we're going to do is go ahead and actually crouch, and we're just going to sneak past the dragon. You can just drop down and get the Academy Glintstone Key. So now you can either run away or you can attempt to kill the dragon. Now the Glintstone Dragon Smarag is an optional boss who uses magical attacks and is weak to piercing damage. I actually recommend that you focus on his head, since he takes an additional 50% damage when you hit it. You can also break his stance as well, which leaves him open for big damage. Now, if you do manage to defeat him, you'll get 14,000 runes and a dragon heart, which you can turn into the Cathedral of Dragons in Caelid, and that will let you unlock Smarag's Glintstone Breath ability, which does magical damage. And now we have the key to access the Raya Lucaria Academy. So let's fast travel back to the south gate, though you can also enter from the northern gate. And then we can just walk up to the barrier and examine the seal, which now allows us to access the front gates. And here we we are in Raya Lucaria Academy. So let's go and activate the first Sight of Grace. This teleportation device actually takes us from the front gate to the rear gate, the main Academy gate, which is going to provide us with the entrance to the Academy. Now we're going to go ahead and enter the elevator. Now from here, we can take the elevator to the southwest into the Academy of Raya Lucaria. And now I'm going to show you how to reach each boss easily. So here we are in Hogwarts. We're going to head down the steps, and if you have any magic resistance armor, make sure you put that on because it makes this location so much easier. Then we're going to head up the steps towards the front entrance, and we'll be greeted by some cheap tricks. But the two-handed greatsword is not impressed by this and will make short work of these magicians. Now we can open up the doors to the Church of Kaku, and we can take a sharp left and go down this aisle, and then go left and left again, and you're going to reach the first Sight of Grace just here. It's a pretty location to get for everything super close together. So we're going to rest here, and then we're going to head down this next corridor, and then left down the stairs and into the graveyard. Now we can ignore all the enemies onwards from here. We just go down this hill to the northeast, and then we go across the rope bridge at the bottom. Then we can just head up the hill and through the next graveyard back towards the castle. And obviously I'm just doing a quick guide to show you how to get the Sights of Grace and get to each boss. But if you want a full breakdown of all the secrets in this location, I will link another guide below that goes over that. But these fast guides are just intended to get you through the main story and the main bosses. Now we're going to head through the arch here and out of the open gates beyond. You'll now need to use the huge elevator, so time it as it comes up before you jump onto it so you don't take any damage. And then wait patiently and make sure that you jump off in time and don't let the elevator just carry on going upwards. Once you're off, you can head straight through the next torch-lit archway here, and then you're going to find the next Sight of Grace in the schoolhouse classroom. Now to reach the first boss, we're going to head through the next door and turn right, then go down the corridor, ignoring the library nerds who are too busy reading to play the game. And then we're going to go up this staircase, but watch out for this magic boy. I just roll past him to avoid his spells. And then go down the next corridor and into the boss room. Good luck. The first boss is the Red Wolf of Radagon, but unfortunately for him, my sword is way too big. So if you need a build guide for a big sword, let me know in the comment section. After killing the wolf, you're going to unlock a new Sight of Grace here in the boss room, and then head north out of that boss room and through the double gates ahead into the courtyard. This is going to access a new area of Raya Lucaria Academy, but we just want to go around the cliff here and then up to the main boss fight next. We're just going to come around here, and then we're going to jump onto this pillar here. And then if we run and jump, we can climb up onto the railing, but do take care because there's a portal above the door there that drops massive iron balls. Now, if we run and jump over the railing and then across the ramp to where I go, the giant black ball that comes down the staircase will actually miss you because it hits the wall just in front of you, and then you can just run up the rest of the stairs. Now, as you go through into the next room, you can optionally defeat the mini-boss Moongrum the Carrion Knight. And if you do beat him, you'll get his Carrion Shield for yourself. And you only need to defeat him once, and then he won't respawn again. So it makes the run back to the boss fight much easier in the future if you just kill him once you're here. After you defeat him, just cross the rest of the courtyard and take the elevator upwards to the final boss fight, which is through these double doors. And after you go inside, you're going to see a weird cutscene. And then I will give you some tips and tricks for the boss fight and where to go after the boss fight. So the first stage of the Rennala Queen of the Full Moon's boss fight requires you to kill these creepy scholars that are surrounded by the golden bubble. You can see there's like a glint of gold around them. After you kill 3 of those, Rennala's shield will then break fully and she'll fall onto the floor where you can just throttle her. In fact, if you do enough damage, it is possible to quite easily kill her in one go here. But if you don't get her down the first time, you'll then have to repeat the process until she's dead. And now she'll actually start levitating scholars and transforming them into gravestones in the sky there that she'll then fire at you. So make sure you take cover behind a bookshelf to avoid getting hit. She also tries to drop chandeliers on you as well. So to avoid those, look out for the burning circles on the floor, which indicate when that's about to fall. And then after you take her down, you've now done her phase 1 of the boss fight. You'll then enter phase 2. Now it is quite easy to bum rush her and stagger her to death if your sword is big enough. Otherwise, you'll have to dodge her glintstone spells, which can be quite annoying because they're like homing missiles. She also uses Hyper Beam, like she thinks she's playing Pokemon or something. And then she just turns into this big moon. And as it slowly floats towards you, the big moon goes boom. She can also summon wolves, trolls, and dragons to aid her. And when she does that, make sure that you just give some distance and then focus her down when this happens. She is actually pretty weak and easy to stagger if you're in melee combat with her. And once defeated, you're going to unlock several things. Firstly, you can trade in the remembrance of the Full Moon Queen to the Finger Maiden in the Round Table Hold. And that's going to reward you with either the Carian Regal Scepter or Rennala's Full Moon spell for yourself, which is a slow-moving big moon that then does massive AoE damage when it hits. You can also now purchase the Queen Mage's robe set as well too, and they're fantastic if you're playing a mage character. But beating Rennala also unlocks the ability to respec your character here in Raya Lucaria's Grand Library, just here at the resting spot. So now you can actually speak to Rennala and you can ask her to rebirth you, which is very sus, but it lets you respec your character's stats completely. Now obviously you can only go back to your character's starting stats, so it's quite inefficient if you want to respec into like a mage build or something. Now before you can respec, you will need to give her a larvial tear, and there's 18 of these scattered around the game, so you can do this several times before getting to New Game Plus. Unfortunately, you can find one very easy just south of the Academy. Now to get this, you're going to go back to the Academy Gate Town, and then you're going to go just to the west here, over to this small little rock thing where you're going to find another resting spot there. Once you get to that location, you're going to find a little mini boss just over here in this open area. Now once you arrive, you must kill the big lobster in the open lake here. It is pretty easy to do while mounted, and once defeated, it actually turns out that it was a grafted scion in disguise. Who would have seen that coming? Now, once you finally kill the grafted scion, you will get a lavial tear, and then you can take it back to Raya to respec your character. Now, if you want to unlock the final map fragment for the lake just around here, you need to come back to the Academy just outside here and go back to the Academy Gate Town. And then we're going to head north through the Academy Gate Town itself. We're going to put a little marker just on the other side there. And then we're going to head northeast to this little small dot in a little circle just here on the map. And this is a teleporter we can use for a massive shortcut. So from the Academy Gate Town here, we're going to head towards the first marker you can see in the sky there. And you can talk to this NPC here if you want his quest. And then in the distance there, just below the Academy, you can see where we're heading. Go ahead and examine this portal and say yes, you would like to fast travel to another location, wherever it might be. And now we are at Lurnia of the Lakes. And look at this, we are right next to the map fragment. So let's go ahead and pick up the map. So you can see now we've unlocked the entire Lurnia of the Lakes area with all the map fragments. And just to show you quickly, we went from the Academy Gate Town fast travel point just here, and we were warped all the way over here on the map. And now we're at this location, I just want to show you guys a really useful blacksmith. So from where we are right now at this crossroads, we're going to go all the way through this ruin here, and we're going to put a marker just here on the map. So you can see the ruin just up the pathway from here. We're literally going to follow this dirt track to the north here and go inside the King's Realm ruins. Just keep going all the way to the back. Ignore all the enemies. Then hit this wall, which is actually fake. And then we're going to hit this site of grace just here. Then you can rest here, and this is the giant right next to the site of grace, right here at the very top of the lake now. And this giant is extremely useful early on in the game, especially because if you talk to him, he actually sells you an unlimited amount of somber smithing stones 1 and 2, and then he has a limited amount of somber smithing stones 3 and 4. Now the next location you'll want to go to is just here at the main academy gate. So this is where we originally entered the academy at the elevator, and just over there, if you go through there, it takes you back to the South Raya Lucaria gate, but there is another exit just over here to the northeast, and that's actually going to take you onwards. If we go ahead and examine the seal, it's going to teleport us across the bridge. And when we arrive here at the Bellum Highway, you look to the left, you'll find another site of grace that you can activate just here, right in front of the Raya Lucaria entrance. We went from the main academy gate across this bridge here to the East Raya Lucaria gate. Now, the next place you're going to want to go if you want to continue along the main path is northeast along this pathway. And at the end of this pathway, it's going to take you to the Lift of Dexus, just here on the map. Now, to activate this, you will need 2 medallions, and you can find how to get those in this next video just here. So I'll see you in the next one, and I hope you found this helpful.